Management that is not diverse and companies that aren't racially or gender diverse aren't always being willfully sexist or racist. Sometimes they're just oblivious. I'm Diana Payton. This is Technical Writing Uncensored. I have been a technical writer for about 15 years. I've been around the block. I've got stories to tell. Let me tell you about a time I worked on site as a documentation manager for a large company. At the time, I was managing a small software documentation department. And when yearly review time came around, all the department heads got into a room with the HR partner to discuss various employees and their ratings. So there were 20 or so people in this room, most of them older than me, almost exclusively white. And aside from the HR partner, I was the only woman. So two women in the room, everybody else, all white dudes, except for one fellow who was Indian. Now, I didn't know most of the employees being discussed because they worked in the engineering and development teams, and I didn't actually interface with them directly. But I did the technical writer thing and asked clarifying questions, and I think I added to the discussion I brought viewpoints that perhaps hadn't been previously considered. At the end of the meeting, the site manager, who was the boss of all department heads and my boss's boss, asked if we felt this was a valuable use of our time. We added value by our presence. And he actually went around and gave everyone, regardless of seniority, the opportunity to speak. He was a really good manager, and I respected him a lot for that. So when he got to me, I answered truthfully that I wasn't sure how much value it had for me or how much I offered because I didn't really know most of the people, but I didn't think I should opt out because it's important for people like me to be part of leadership discussions like this. And the manager, a white man, had no idea what I was talking about. "What do you mean?" he asked in front of this room of senior white male managers, all of whom were now looking at me curiously. So I braced myself and said, "Well, I'm the only female manager in this room." He was a bit dumbstruck. You could tell he didn't know what to say. It had not occurred to him that there was one of these things is not like the other. I don't know how he would have responded since my colleague, the single Indian guy in the room, came to my rescue and said, "Yeah, as the only non-white person in the room, I know what you mean." Thankfully, the manager didn't dwell on that and just moved on to the next person, asked the same question, continued around the room. I don't know if anything actually came of that. I didn't hear about any changes, but hopefully I gave them something to think about. So the point here is that lack of diversity in management isn't always because the people in power are doing the evil hiring thing, rubbing their hands together as they plot to exclude non-white, non-male people. Sometimes they literally just don't notice. It's like face blindness. I mean, people talk about not seeing gender and not seeing race, but sometimes you need to because otherwise you don't notice who's missing and what voices aren't coming to the table. So this blindness doesn't excuse lack of diversity, but it does explain it a little bit. If you find yourself in one of these rooms and it's uncomfortable and you have the opportunity to opt out, please don't, because you just make the representation problem worse. Your voice and your presence matters. Be in the room where the decisions are made, where it happens. Diversity matters, folks. First step to solving this problem of lack of representation is understanding it. Name the problem, and then we can begin to solve it. Hopefully, I've given you something to think about. Let me know what you think and share any stories you have in the comments. So, see you next time on Technical Writing Uncensored. Please like and subscribe for more content like this and more story time with Diana. Have a good one.